and my adjournment tonight is for the Minister for Industry and Innovation, and the action I seek is for the Minister to attend a community meeting with residents who are fed up with the spin from Labor about fixing mobile reception in Clyde North, when they know all too well that the best way to fix this problem is not just cash, but a policy and change in planning to allow more towers to be built as a priority. Residents in Clyde North have been approaching us for a long period of time in relation to the issues they've faced around reception with their mobile phones. Obviously, that includes data as well, and it is one of the fastest growing areas in the southeast. We need to make sure that despite having tens of thousands of people moving in, that not just the roads, the rail, the schools, the education facilities, the hospitals, but one of the things that would be seen as a necessity these days is those mobile phone towers to ensure people can have access at home. One of the concerns is when people Telstra or the major companies put in applications to put in mobile towers, it goes through a process with the council, and the council have knocked them back on multiple occasions at sports grounds. Now, the sports grounds would be willing to accept it, the community is willing to accept it at sports grounds. It appears that because of the legislation, the council have made a choice to not accept them at those grounds, and that's impacting the lives of people living in those areas. And whilst it impacts people who are doing education at home and working from home, one of the greatest impacts in those areas is the access for emergency services. So if you call 000, we've seen cases down there where we've seen circumstances where people trying to ring the fire department or where people have tried to ring an ambulance, including on a bowls green where they've had to walk back inside the building to use a landline to call 000, or the one that would break most people's heart is a lady who had to call 000 from outside her house, knowing her husband wasn't going to survive, but not being able to spend the last couple of minutes with him while she was outside trying to call 000. These are circumstances that shouldn't happen in a first world nation. These are circumstances that shouldn't happen in the growth corridor of Casey. And I'm calling on the government to not just talk about the funding that goes in there, which whilst we know is important, but more importantly, how do we update the planning legislation and ensure that the towers can be built when these areas are getting constructed and it's taken into consideration as a priority. The same as when we put on our PSPs, we've got sports grounds, sewerage, phone connections through the grounds. We also need to make sure we know where mobile towers are. Therefore, you won't have the issue of people saying, I want a mobile tower, just not in my backyard.